Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Now what I've got for you is a Terran versus Protoss on World of Sleepers LE. Now, I always kind of feel like I need to say World of Sleepers a little bit more quietly. I've played dozens of games on this map, I casted a whole lot of games on this map as well, and I've never seen anything wake up from it just yet, but it's called World of Sleepers, so I guess something must be asleep over here, right? I mean, and before something starts crawling up from the dead space over here, is that a claw? No, it's actually just a mineral patch. But regardless, spawning here in the top right-hand corner of the map and playing with the red Terran SCVs. From South Korea, we have none other than Dream. Indeed, joined right there by Samwise, spinning around on the command center. His opponent in the opposite corner playing with the blue Protoss probes. Likewise, also from South Korea, we have none other than Creator. Alrighty. So this game was part of Olimo League, I believe 169. So Olimo League is a weekly tournament that gets held over in South Korea. And it's actually one of the reasons why I can regularly go ahead and cast Korean games of StarCraft 2. So for those of you interested, I'll go ahead and post a link to their Patreon page down below. Because if I'm not mistaken, the entire tournament is crowdfunded. And without them, I mean, I'm a supporter of their channel myself as well. I'm a supporter of their Patreon myself. Without them, I wouldn't be able to cast nearly as many of these Korean replays as I do right now. So if you're interested, I'll go ahead and post a link down below. Now, apparently this game, a couple of you reached out, was absolutely amazing. So we'll figure out together what it is all about and why this game in particular was tweeted about to me a couple of times already. A little bit of harassment over here. Creator trying to deny that expansion from going up, and he actually loses the probe. Now, obviously, that doesn't sound like a big deal. Usually, the probe dies to that one Reaper guy anyway, so it's not massive, but it's one of those things that you don't want to have happen, right? This is a small little mistake, and this now allows the Reaper to go straight across the map. You want to delay this much, or this guy as much as possible if you are the Protoss player, just because the Adept obviously needs to be out in order to deal with it as well. Otherwise, your mineral line is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Now, judging by the timing, though, of that Adept, Chrono Boost obviously being utilized as well, it is going to be out plenty in time. But still, losing a probe for free, not really what you want to have happen. So it's going to be a Stargate opener here. Okay, so some players absolutely love Stargate. It seems like a lot of Protoss players either have like a absolute love for the Stargate or they hate it. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of people in between there. Oftentimes, obviously, that's an Oracle that we will see early on. Many times we also do see some Phoenixes as a follow-up too. In the meantime though, on the Terran side of things, we already do have the follow-up right now with a factory. Wouldn't be surprised to see a starport coming up, but instead, you know what? Okay, I like this. We have a third command center being built really early on here as well. Now, one of the issues that a lot of Terran players are dealing with right now is that they have a hard time trying to counter the third base of the Protoss. So Protosses have gotten very, very good at timing their third base just right. And while this is obviously a little bit greedy, most of the time that I've seen Terran versus Protoss recently, it seems to be the case that Protosses are the ones sitting back, and they're just simply gotta macro their way out of it while winning in the long run, right? So they're not really going for that many two-base timing attacks anymore. And I guess if you go for a quick third command center, it will allow you to at the very least stay up to pace here with the Protoss player as well, if they do decide to indeed go for that quick third expansion. Now there is gonna be a Phoenix right now as a follow-up for that first Oracle. I don't know if he's going to go for another Oracle, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be the only one. Apparently, these Adepts right here had a bit of a mission. None of them have any kills. Reaper Man's still alive. Apparently, the Commandos right there were not quite capable of getting the confirmed kill. Cyclone waiting on the perimeter. And at the very least, this Oracle will right now figure out that it was that very quick third command center. And Dream, for the time being, seems to be perfectly fine. He has a couple of Marines set up right now in the natural as well, just in case the Oracle would have gone in that direction. But already, right, with that single Cyclone set up that way, there's no way that really a whole lot of damage can be done. So Dream is going to continue right now with additional production, adding on those additional barracks, and he's going to be able to get himself those upgrades very quickly. Now, even though they made the Stimpack upgrade 100 seconds in duration rather than 121 pretty recently, I still see a lot of Terran players just fighting over the third Nexus. Like, countering the third Nexus is a big problem, and I guess going for your own third base even faster will be able to help out in that regard, but obviously this is going to make the early game a whole lot riskier for the Terran player because there's not that much you can do. last second race right there on the supply depot, trying to bait those adepts to commit. Not quite gonna happen, as Dream is obviously a little bit too good for that. Alrighty, so in the meantime, on the other side of the map, a couple of Phoenixes are just waiting out here. Obviously, Phoenixes are great to counter any kind of medivac play. Now, keep in mind, the starport obviously was extremely late as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's not really going to be a whole lot of medivac drops happening anytime soon. As a matter of fact, only just now do we see the addition of the starport. And that's really the downside of opening up with such a quick third expansion, right? I mean, for the majority here of this game, we've really just seen the Terran player sitting back, right? He's not going to be able to go for any of the Widowmine drops or any of the Viking harass or any of the other things that we see in TVP. He's basically just allowing Protoss to do whatever. And personally, I mean, obviously I play mostly Zerg versus Protoss, but personally, I don't feel very comfortable letting Protoss do whatever, because just like it always has been since the very beginning of StarCraft 2, Protoss is scariest when they have that really big, scary Protoss death ball. Alrighty, so gateways are coming up. Third Nexus has finished up as well. Gases will be acquired over there too. And it looks like, all things considered, this is a pretty straightforward, macro-focused game of TVP so far. Neither player really taking a whole lot of risks. So that does mean we're going to be jumping straight towards that mid-game army here. Looks like it will be that very standard bio-based force. Now, nice little catch there. Look at those Marines. Taking their combat drugs, immediately stimming forward. They managed to pick up the Oracle, and that doesn't look like a big deal, but it's actually pretty important for the Protoss player to have that Oracle around. The thing about the Oracle is that you can use Revelation to just simply keep track of where the Terran army is located. And while that obviously is something you can skip out on if your scouting is good enough with, for example, Phoenixes, you don't really need it. But it's one of those things that just simply helps, right? Like, I mean, the longer you keep an Oracle alive, the more value you get out of it. So losing it for practically free, not quite what you want. Now, Dream is getting a little bit brave here, though. He's trying to catch these Phoenixes now as well. A lot of Marines are being stimmed. I don't think they're going to be able to achieve all that much, as the Phoenixes should be able to just simply fly on away. I mean, unless you idle them over here. Can you please right-click a little bit further away? He keeps moving them like 2 meters. Anyways, we see that War Prison right now on the top section of the map too. A couple of Zealots right now. Look like they're going to run over to the third base, and I think the Prism is then headed towards that main base of the Terran. At the same time, though, Dream right now seems to want to go for a bit of a push. That does mean that these Zealots are going to be able to deal quite a bit of damage, as reinforcements are really the only way of dealing with it. But does that mean right now that there's too much Protoss on the other side of the map? Nice set of force fields. Terran army, though, does float away. There's a couple of Widow Mines right there, right? You don't want your Zealots charging straight into the Widow Mines. At the same time, though, SCVs are taking a lot of damage. Widow Mines defending at home as well. Question is there going to be enough right now for the Protoss player to hold on against this Terran army? There's really not that much. Now, double Colossus are being produced. So 2 Colossi obviously will be more than enough to finish this Terran force, but there's a lot of Protoss units already bleeding out. There's one of those laser giraffes, though. That's going to help out quite a bit. Good splits here by the Terran player, but you can see immediately the Terran army starts burning. This is what you're waiting for if you are the Protoss player, lifting up as many of those scary Terran units, and then just simply getting the Colossus into the fight now. That Colossus is running very low. Whew. That was very close, actually. And you know what? All things considered, well, he does manage to get the final hit right now with a little bit of cute micro. All things considered, I don't necessarily think that that was that great of an army there for the Terran player to lose. He does come up with a couple of reinforcements. Ghosts are already added into the mix too. Ghost actually now used his EMP for those Phoenixes. So that means that these Phoenixes, and yes, that pickup ability is a spell, are not going to be able to really pick up that many units anymore. Sometimes I forget about the fact that the Phoenixes have that pickup ability. Not that they have the pickup ability, but that it's a spell as well. You can EMP Phoenixes, and that does mean that they don't have energy right now. They need to actually accumulate that energy over the course of the next couple of minutes. Now, despite the fact that the Ghosts have already shown themselves, there's still going to be a Templar Archives here for Creator. He's gonna now also go for a couple of, well, I saw at the very least one of them. Yeah, there you go. One Disruptor. With that Purification Nova, obviously, that one cannot be EMP'd. So basically, some of the spells in StarCraft 2 are energy-based, and some of them are just simply cooldown-based. So usually the units that are obviously cooldown-based don't have any problems with the Ghosts. So our Ghost actually can do a lot of damage straight up. Looks like this Observer, though. Yep. Flew a little bit too far forward. It does now know about that 4th command center on the low ground. I love this song, by the way. I feel like talking over this song is kind of bad. It's maybe not as good as Terran 3 from StarCraft 1, right? But it's still very, very good. Did that medevac ever go across the map, by the way? There was a single medevac that tried to move across. Oh no, it's right over here on the left-hand side. You can barely see it on the minimap. I thought it disappeared. Okay, there we go. He's gonna start moving it towards the 3rd base. Now, there's not that much anti-air over here, so he will need to respond in time. Phoenixes are distracted in the center of the map by those Marines. There we go. The Widowmine drop is gonna land over at the 3rd base. This is one of those things that very quickly can turn into a disaster. Good splits right there. Only 2 probes end up dying. 2 more of those Widowmines, though, being utilized right now over in the natural. And you know what? That control there from Creator, very good. Super easy to lose all of your workers in just a second. And oh my god, he's done... Oh, well, you know what? Yeah, no, that was actually totally manageable. I mean, it's very easy to lose a lot of your units and a lot of your probes. In total, right now, both players have certainly taken a fair share of losses, but I think it's manageable. So, 4th bases have been acquired on both sides of the map. And we're really starting to head right now into that late game force for both the Terran and the Protoss. So, most of the time for Terran, you want to go for a healthy amount of Bio units, but eventually you want to switch towards Ghosts, Vikings, and Liberators. Liberators obviously are phenomenal, as they can really allow you to push and pin back the Terran or the Protoss force. Now, likewise for Protoss, usually they will try and counter Liberators with Tempests and whatnot, but we haven't quite arrived at that stage in the game just yet. This is really for Protoss like the age of splash damage, okay? He's going for Colossus, he's going for High Templar, he's going for Disruptors. They can basically end this game with 1 solid connection. So it all comes down right now to the micro. Now, I like this. Already, Dream has actually split up his army into smaller little pockets, right? So he's never going to be able to just lose everything in one big hit. Zealot's actually wasting their charge cooldown right there on 1 supply depot. There's the Disruptor, but it only gets a single Marine. And I think there's going to be plenty right now for the Terran player to defend against this. Once again, good split. These are mostly just retreating Disruptor Novas. Not necessarily the scariest ones, but at the very least, Creator is going to be able to back off right now. And both players really are not taking a lot of damage. I mean, we do now see a couple of those Dark Templar at work over at the 3rd base. And yeah, once again, a couple of workers will go down. But none of the damage that has been done so far is really that critical. 5th Nexus and 6th Nexus acquired. For the Protoss player, we see additional command centers coming up as well. Both players are getting to the state where they are maxed out. And that obviously means that they're going to be able to go for those super late game forces. Terran army right now, though, making its way over towards what seems to be the 3rd base of the Protoss. Protoss kind of caught with its pants down, but the thing is he's going to be able to go now for what seems to be a bit of a Protoss sandwich. Okay, Terran does sniff out what's going on, does not take the bait of that 3rd command center. There's really not that much Terran over here, though. Yeah, the majority of the army as well, or at least a smaller chunk of the army, is down below. They're going to be able to force the Council on that Nexus over there, and while... yeah, some of this army is being run around. I do still think this is a nice little engagement here for Dream. Oh, well, we do now see the Purification Novas once again moving forward. Excellent splits there from the Terran player. Storms did land, though, and most of this Terran army is very, very weak. I don't know if you really want to necessarily commit. At the same time, we do see that army over on the bottom section of the map also microed forward. They're going to try and take out the 3rd base, but it's not going to happen. Medevacs right now, though, in a little bit of trouble. Only a couple of Stalkers do remain. Blink should come off cooldown here once again, but he's too busy microing in the meantime over on the other side. And it looks like this army will be deflected. Man, this is a scrappy game. Considering the fact that both players have been able to elegantly macro up, right? This has actually become pretty scrappy right now with all of those engagements in smaller little areas of the map. Center expansion right now also being acquired here for Protoss. That one laser boy on the left still picking up kill after kill after kill. And EMP once again reduces the energy there on those Phoenixes, or I guess depletes the energy there on those Phoenixes. And that means no more lift-ups here for a little while. Now, Dream has been losing a lot of his army, right? Look at his macro here as well. It's actually slipped quite badly. He's currently got like roughly 2,000 resources in the bank. Well, I say that and he immediately spends a chunk of it, but that's actually painful, right? He doesn't have enough production, it seems like, right now to really get the value and the reinforcements that he needs right here. This actually puts him in an awkward spot because he doesn't have that big of a force. Now, I don't see a War Prism with this Protoss army either, so that's gonna Yeah, that's not going to allow Creator to easily reinforce this army at the same time either, but still. Not quite what you want. Having that many resources in the bank, not really quite what you want. So Protoss once again maxed out. Terran is going to max out here in a second too. 3-3 upgrades are going to finish up in about a minute too. And once again, he keeps looking for the juicy Purification Nova, but I haven't seen a really big one land just yet. Prism does join in. Brought apparently a reinforcing Immortal as well. But so far, both players taking a little bit of damage here and there. No one really at a gigantic advantage just yet. Okay, Ghost in the front here, though. That's not quite what you want. A lot of them end up dying. There we go. Purification Nova is going to allow them to once again pick up a couple. Oh, there's another one. Trying to get the connection. Disruptors, though, being utilized left and right. Once again, Dream should be able to push back the majority of this force. Reinforcements, though, for the Protoss joining the fight almost immediately. This is such a difficult engagement to fight for both sides, right? Like, Protoss doesn't want to fight on top of the planetary fortress for obvious reasons. Likewise, Terran doesn't want to fight too far forward either because he wants to fight as close to the planetary as possible. So he's got a safe haven to fall back into, but it's one Purification Nova away from losing the game. Now, here's this upgrade, though. That's quite nice, right? Like, 3-3, generally speaking, makes the Terran army look way, way, way more powerful. He's producing a lot of ghosts here. I would like to actually see a couple of nukes here, too. There's that new upgrade, by the way. It is an upgrade that allows the ghosts to have a little bit more range and a little bit more of a radius on their EMP, making it quite a bit more powerful. I do like the fact that Dream keeps on splitting with his army into multiple different segments, right? Like, it's really tempting to basically clump all of your bio army together at once, or maybe to go for, like, tons and tons of drops. He's got a lot of medevacts. He could go for more drop play, but he's decided not to go ahead and do so. He's just sort of walking his Terran army on the ground. Not something we see all too often. Nice snipe right there on one of those High Templar, but a couple of Marines and Marauders also pay for that mistake with their life. Dark Templar here are going to be able, or is going to be able to kill a few of these SCVs and maybe even the command center. We also see a Terran army on the northern section of the map. They're going to try and go after this expansion over here. A couple of photon cannons are set up. I would love to see a couple more. But I guess with the High Templar there in the back, it should be fine. This probe, brave enough to move up towards that high ground to go after a new nexus, a new expansion location, but it's not quite gonna happen. Dark Templar over here, the one that was responsible for countering the base, also got picked off pretty easily. Oh man, both players trying to force each other's multitasking so hard. A lot of Zealots are being warped in right now. This is the awkward spot where Protoss is so close to maxing out that they're not going to be able to warp in very easily. Base on the right-hand side once again gets countered as well. We do see a recall, a couple of Immortals towards this location on the map, and I think that is going to be enough to get that army to back off. At the same time, Terran army now also moving through the center. Oh my god. There we go. Beautiful storms. They're going to force this Terran army to now also once again back off. Both players taking a whole lot of damage, but neither of them really getting an advantage. If you look right now at the units lost, yeah, Protoss did lose more, right? Protoss did lose more in the grand scheme of things. Like, all of these Protoss units are really expensive to lose. I guess that's really the value. Ooh, there's a nuke. I guess that's the value of that Terran army. Now he's going to try and stress that multitasking even more by deploying a nuke while simultaneously fighting as well. Looks like the nuke will land, but at the same time, the Terran army is fighting on the northern section of the map. We see another nuke right now being utilized by this one ghost right over there. That one will be picked off. Great microing backwards here from Creator, trying to get the most out of his army. But nothing really has happened in the detriment of Protoss just yet. Oh man, look at that. I love seeing that. 3 nukes are being produced here at once. Disruptors once again trying to get the value. Ooh, there we go. That's a big one. That's a big one. Ghosts are super expensive. There's a lot of ghosts, by the way. 17. 5 more are being produced. Looks like we've got a bit of a breather in this game. This is one of those games where you watch it and you're like, yeah, this is pretty impressive. But if you were to play it, right? If you try and play either Terran or Protoss from this position, it is so extremely easy to lose. Like, it takes like two mistakes to completely end the game. It's super easy to just make a small error and to just have that game end. Now, you see this guy? That's a ghost with a mission. I don't really know exactly where it's going. Well, it's got a mission. To die. Good attempt, but not quite. Oh, another nuke right now being utilized here in the northern section of the map too. That one will also be picked off. If the ghost dies, that means that the nuke obviously will not land. Once again though, he's trying to stress the multitasking of the Protoss so well. And in the grand scheme of things, the economy of Terran really has grown like crazy, right? He finally managed to get the base over here. Protoss now also took the expansion in the top left-hand corner. Both players actually still have so much mining. We saw them sitting at about 80 workers here for a little while. Looks like workers will not be remade at this point in the game. There's those disruptor balls. This time around, they will connect as the multitasking is pretty ridiculous. Believe it or not, pro gamers also only have 2 eyes. Oh, another one. Another one with a mission. Where are you gonna go this time? At the same time though, ooh, while we have another nuke being deployed, we see a Terran army trying to chase back that Protoss. Looks like the laser giraffe will finally end up being picked off too. And so far actually, Creator seems to be the one who really is starting to stress his opponent quite a bit more than, or rather, Dream is the one who's really starting to stress his opponent a whole lot more than Creator is able to do to Dream. It's really been Dream pushing relentlessly for quite some time already, and he keeps on replacing his army with more and more stuff. I haven't actually seen a lot of Terran players just not go for Liberators. We have not seen a single Liberator, have we? Have we? I don't think so. No, 16 Vikings have gone down, but no Liberators at all. By the way, there's another one of these ghosts, and this is such a cheeky position. Who expects the nuke to land from inside of the main base here of the Protoss player? Not really a spot that you would look at necessarily. He hasn't deployed the nuke just yet though, and while this army is cutting backwards, we see the reinforcing Terran force moving towards the top left-hand corner of the map. A lot of units are losing their life over here, but oftentimes these kind of games turn out to be eco games, right? And with planetary fortresses set up in some of the more vulnerable locations for Terran, it's actually doable right now for the Terran player to win from this position. Now, he does need to hold this counterattack, though. This is a scary Protoss army, and there's really not that many Terran reinforcements here either, as most of them are currently on the other side of the map. Now, once again, a nuke being deployed. This time, it is a completely defensive nuke. He doesn't see the ghost over there. It's actually hiding out in the background. If he gets these High Templar, that would be a disaster. Ooh, it's gonna be close. No, not quite gonna be able to deal that much damage. At the same time, though, Terran is pushing towards what seems to be the juicy underbelly of that Protoss player, right? Like the soft underbelly, their production. At the same time, we see Creator now sitting right where his opponent's production is at, but there's a lot of Terran units waiting for him as well. Purification Nova, once again, microed against as well. We see another Purification Nova on the ramp. That one does connect, but there's not that many Protoss units that remain. And I think, considering a lot of bases were picked off on the back of this too, Colossus falls, it looks like the High Templar will be picked off as well. Yeah, it seems like Dream has enough to obtain the victory in this extremely well-fought game. That was ridiculous. That was so difficult to keep track of, right? I mean, I obviously can see the entire map while observing the game, but you gotta keep in mind that they can only, like, see what they have vision of, right? So you gotta continuously scout where your opponent is expanding. You gotta scan where their army is located. You gotta send observers and hallucinated phoenixes and units in every spot of the map just to keep track of what's going on. You need to be so fast in order to obtain the victory in a game like this. Extremely well played there by Dream. Relentless aggression from start to finish. And, well, if you didn't enjoy this game, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong, okay? Like, this is the pinnacle of Terran versus Protoss right now. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile or write. And I will see you once again in the next one.